Hello, Toastmasters. My name is Timujin, and this is my third time I'm joining you. So last time I couldn't because of some some work. So I'm excited to be a word master for the day. So can I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you. Can you all see? Okay, so just a minute. Okay, so now before the meeting, I had a hard time, finding a right word, mostly because, we are, it's Christmas and also New Year is coming. So I thought I should find some word, I should find a word, related to Christmas, but now I couldn't find one but my word of the day is plots. Okay, so plots uh, is a verb and which means collapse or faint as from surprise, excitement, or exhaustion. So this word is originally from Yiddish word meaning German, and example is okay. My sorry, I made some mistake. Okay, my grandpa was worried about street lamps, mirrors, the occasional honks of a horn. Had he lived to see a smartphone or modern city, he would have plotted. Okay, so does it make sense? Okay, so as a word master, I'm going to listen closely and carefully to each one of you throughout the meeting and see if you could use this word as we speak. Okay, so I highly encourage you to use this word. Maybe you can use this word in a context of Christmas or New Year. Okay, so thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Tenjing. And Jerry, you put something. Could that word be collapsed? Uh, could you unmute and explain that?
Yes, I wondered if perhaps that word could be collapsed. The dictionary I have shows plot or plots as be to plan or to um, work up some kind of a scheme or a plan. So whatever
Yeah.
you found, I just didn't find that in my dictionary over here.
Okay. I saw in the dictionary and Google, and that says plot, which means collapse or be beside oneself with frustration. So I'm okay to use that.
Fine.
Yeah.
He's the word master.
All right. Okay. I'll put in the chat as well. So yeah, I hope nobody plots in this meeting because that's not what we do in Toastmasters. Okay. Moving on to our next role player. Thank you, Jan, for volunteering to be the R counter. Would you please explain the role?
Today, as the ah counter, I will be listening to everybody's speech during the table topics and during your speeches. And if you say filler words like like, I'll keep track of that. And I may also mention at the end if you say something wonderful, instead of a filler word, some literary kind of phrase or something, alliteration. But that's my job today, to be the counter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jan. That was short and crisp. Nobody plots. Okay, let's move on to the club business. So, in terms of the club update, we are really looking forward to chartering of the club in 2021, most likely in January. We already have about 15 or 16 members, prospective members, who are willing to be the chartering members. So, any of you who is not uh, who is yet to volunteer for being the charter member, please send an email to globalonlineclub@gmail.com, and we'll provide you all the details required. Also, Jerry has requested that he want to walk us through the club website. So Jerry, would you like to do now?
Yes, I would like to, for those of you that have already um, given me your email addresses and I've been able to include you on the club's mailing email list, I have sent some information that is you should have seen, and I wanted to run over it briefly because it is very important. I've indicated that I highly encourage you to put this into your contacts list. These email addresses or these website addresses for the clubs, you can always find them there. On this handout, you will see how to access the website, what to do about a password. Very importantly, there are a number of items available under the members only tab at the top, which some people seem to have trouble finding, so be sure and look for it. Very important will be the meeting agendas there. The role sign up, which you can also do by going directly to an agenda. A very important one is the private member directory. And that is, that way you can get the email address of anyone who is registered on our mailing list. Also, role descriptions. Again, remember that every club is a little different, and this is an advanced club. We are trying to make sure that everyone has an opportunity or can work to similar standards. And when you look to see that, let me take a quick look here. Do you see this now that says meeting role descriptions? When you click on that tab over here in the members only tab, it'll tell you every role description that is available. So please do take a look at these things. It will go a long way towards helping us maintain a high quality club. And back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Yeah, you might pause when you visit website once in a while, but if you keep going there, I'm pretty sure you won't be pausing. Anyways, let's move on to the main portion of the meeting, which is where I will introduce our Toastmaster, the young, charming, and energetic Taiba as Toastmaster of the day. So over to you, Taiba.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Haritosh. So, Jimron once said that an optimistic person sees the sunshine through the window, and a pessimist sees only the specks on the window. So 2020 has passed, and a lot of us only saw the specks on the window rather than seeing the sunshine. Let us be those people who appreciate the sunshine and the rains and the rainbows through the window rather than just the specks. And welcome, 2021 with a fresh mindset, a mindset of openness, of opportunities, and basically a transparent mindset where we see good things rather than just focusing on the specks rather than the sunshine. So can we have a quick can you guys just have can we have a quick question and answer interactive kind of session with me, wherein you tell what is one thing that you wish in 2021. So quickly, can everybody just list down their one wish for 2021, starting with Haritosh?
Taiwa, I think we can do that, but I think we have a warm-up section, and if we do this now, it will take up a lot of time. So I'm cognizant of the fact that running a little behind the schedule. So Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Okay. Let me quickly explain my role as the Toastmaster of the day. I would be taking, if there are any guests. So a Toastmaster meeting is divided into three parts. The first part is the prepared speech section, where a speaker comes up prepared and presents his speech. The second is the most fun-filled section of the meeting, that is the table topic section. And the third is the, evaluation section. Evaluation, as you all know, is the breakfast of the champions, where we all learn and grow through these evaluations. So let me, invite the general evaluator for today's meeting. She is Frankie. So over to Frankie.
Hi, good afternoon or good morning. This is Francine. It's my pleasure to serve as your general evaluator today. And as such, my role will be to pay attention to everything that is happening, everything that was supposed to happen, and even what is not happening during the session. And at the end of the session, I will give my report. And to accomplish this task, in addition to grammarian, accountant, and timer, I will be supported by a team of 4 evaluators. For the prepared speech, evaluator number 1 will be Deb Wallace. Evaluator number 2 will be Haritosh. And for the table topics evaluation, for the odd numbers speaker, that's an idea from Jerry, yes. They will be evaluated by Lucy. And for the even numbers, they will be evaluated by Jack Van. That's my role as a general evaluator today. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much for meticulously explaining your role. Hello. Thank you so much, Frankie, for explaining your role meticulously. Now let's move on to our next role player, that is the timer for today's meeting, and he is Toastmaster Javed. Over to Toastmaster Javed.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Taiba. So I'll be your timer for today's meeting. And as a timer, my duty will be to count the time taken by all the speakers and evaluators. So time limit given for prepared speaker will be 5 to 7 minutes. Since we have icebreaker as well today, so time limit for icebreaker will be 4 to 6 minutes. And since we have special education session as well today, so time limit given for him will be 10 to 15 minutes. And for speech evaluator, time limit will be 2 to 3 minutes. And for table topic speaker, time limit will be from 1 to 2 minutes. And grace period will be 30 seconds for all the speakers. So during the first phase, I will be changing my background as green. For example, if table topic speaker finishes 1 minute, it will be green. If he finishes 1 minute 30 seconds, the background will be yellow. And if table topic speaker finishes 2 minutes, so it will be red. I'll submit my report when called upon. Over to you, Toastmaster Taiba.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Javed, for elaborating your role so well. Now let's move on to our next role player, and I'm so excited to introduce her because she brings in so many amazing things whenever she comes on stage. She is Toastmaster Jan as the joke master for today.
Thank you, Taiba. Thank you very much. I have a collection of some very quick jokes, and they're play on words, so see if you can figure them out. Somebody actually complimented me yesterday on my driving. They even left a little note on my windscreen, my windshield. It said, "Parking fine." Do you guys get it? Parking fine? Okay, here's another one. I knew these Siamese twins. They moved to England so the other one could drive. That was by Stephen Wright. Everybody likes dogs, and here's one. I asked this woman why she had two seeing eye dogs, and she said one was for reading. And I'll close on this one because it's an international joke. My neighbor has two dogs. One of them said to the other, woof, and the other one replied, moo. The dog is perplexed. Moo? Why did you say moo? The other dog says, I'm trying to learn a foreign language. Okay, those are my jokes for the day. Hope you guys had a great holiday.
Thank you so much, Jan, for that quick session that enthralled us all. Now, moving on to another exciting, enthralling, and exhilarating section, that is the warm-up section that would be taken by Toastmaster Frankie. So over to Toastmaster Frankie.
Sorry, my apologies, Taiba, I missed the last part.
You are the warm-up facilitator, right?
Yes, I signed up for that role too.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Could you? Yeah.
Okay, I found the question you asked during your introduction very good, and I want to borrow it from you. So by asking each and all of us, what will be your one wish for 2021? I want to start with Jerry. What will be your one and only wish for 2021?
My one and only wish for 2021 is that, not that we all get back to what we had before, but that we all get comfortable with the world as it is becoming. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Jerry. I want to ask the same question now to Steve Pelletier.
Good morning, everyone. My one wish for 2021 would be to get back to work and my kids get back to school.
Good one. Now to Deb. Deb, what would be your one and only wish for 2021? Deb Wallace, can you hear us?
Sorry, I missed that. My one wish for 2021 would be to get back to work so I can help as many clients as possible because I miss them all so much. Back to you.
Thank you, Deb. It seems as many of us want to get back to work in 2021. Now, the question is to John Pedersen. John, what's your wish?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Toastmasters. John Peterson here from Bloomington. And as it relates to Toastmaster, my one and only wish is for Jan Goditis to get her DTM award.
Good one. Wishing you good luck on that. Next to Paul. Paul, what would be your one wish? Hello, Paul. Can you hear me, Paul?
Go on here. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, my one wish is to be able to socialize again. I know we're doing this by all this technology, but I really miss being with people. I hope that comes soon. People and family.
You're not alone, Paul. We all want to socialize again. Now to Jennifer. Jennifer, what would be your one and only wish for 2021?
Good day, fellow Toastmasters. My one wish each year is peace. And my wish is that each of us realize that really does begin in our homes and with each of us doing what we need to do to feel peace within this process. and to share that with others. So again, my wish this year is peace.
Good one, Jennifer. I also wish for peace in the world and for all of us. Next is Jack. Is Jack Van connected? Jack Van, can you hear me? Oh, it seems to not be connected. I want to ask Mark Walton. The floor is yours, Mark.
Thank you. Francine, I'm sorry, I've been having some hardware issues. Would you repeat the question for me?
The question is, what would be your one and only wish for 2021?
My one wish for 2021, fellow Toastmasters, and I wonder how many of us might echo this, is that having gotten through 2020 almost, I'll be able to say the same thing at the end of 2021. One never knows. One hopes, one has confidence, but not certain knowledge. I'll leave that up to God, and in the meantime, I'll settle for hope. Thank you.
That's a good one. Thank you, Mark. Now I want to ask the question to our word master. What would be your one and only wish for 2021?
Okay, mine is quite simple. My only and one wish for 2020 would be my favorite movies would be released on time, not postponed.
Funny one, thank you. Now to Javed. Javed, what will it be for you?
My one wish for 2021 would be 2021 should be COVID-19 free, and I would be able to travel anywhere, wherever I wanted to.
I also want to travel, Javed. Thank you. Now to Haritosh. Haritosh, what would be your wish?
Yeah, I have so many wishes to be completed in 2021, 22, but if I have to choose one and only one wish, it would be to take a vacation and reunite with my family. For the most part of 2020, I've been living alone, which is not a great thing. So I would like to get reunited with the family and bring them over with me. Thank you.
We feel you, Haritosh. Now asking the same question to me here. Me here, what will be your one and only wish?
The one and only wish for me would be to get some more clarity about what to do in my life after my graduation. So that would be my wish.
Hoping the same for you, me here. Now asking Lucy, what will be your one and only wish for 2021?
I hope in 2021, my family can have a family trip so that I can have an album of all the family photos. I really want to have this family album so that I can look at it every year.
Wow, that's fantastic. Asking the same question now, last but not the least, to Jack. Jack, no, not the last. We still have one. Jack.
You mean me, not Lou?
No, you, Jack, not Lucy. Jack, your one and only wish for 2021.
Okay, I wish like Lucy and I have a even better relationship, and also we can grow together. Like we should have a goal. For me, I need like achieve another master degree. I hope I can achieve it. Yes, thank you.
Wishing you will achieve it, Jack. Now, last but not the least, Jan, what will be your one and only wish for 2021?
Well, just like Haritosh, I have very many wishes, but I'll share with you a secret wish that I can't share with very many people because it may be bad luck if I tell too many people, but my daughter got married last year, so this next year I hope that I become a grandmother. And, that would be what I would wish for next year. I'd like to be a grandmother, and hopefully I'd be able to travel and see him or her before they're 20 years old. That would be my wish. And to get my DTM. So join this club because that will help me get my DTM. Thank you.
What a sweet wish, Jan. We wish you all the best. My one and only wish for 2021 is health, because without health, there's nothing we can achieve. So anytime I think about one and only thing I want to do, I want to achieve, I always think about, please God, give me health, give me good health. So that would be my wish for 2021. So it was a fresh breeze, a pleasure, and very invigorating to listen to all our wishes for 2021, for all the things we don't want to see repeating in 2021. And I wish all this will really happen. We'll work very hard on it, and this will just come true. That was my part for the warm-up. Thank you all for playing the game and for participating. I believe we are all warm now. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much. Frankine just forgot me. She covered everybody, and I was like literally waiting when will my turn come. I was super excited, but I will anyway share my wish because I'm super charged up now that, I want to express myself. My only wish in 2021 is I get the boy of my dreams who matches my energy, my enthusiasm, my positivity. And I want to build a multi-billion-dollar company with that person. So that's my wish for 2021. So I'm a big dreamer. So yeah.
I didn't hear
thank
from
you.
Lucy. Sorry.
Lucy did shared.
Okay. I'm not paying attention. Sorry.
Well, I was counting everybody and I counted pretty well. Kudos to me on that. Thank you so much, Frankine, for that amazing session. Had a lot of fun. Now it's time for our educational session, which is by Jerry Zimmerman. Now, Jerry is an avid Toastmaster. Jerry has served in many officer positions. He believes that leadership development is one of Toastmasters' best kept secrets. As members of our Advanced Toastmasters Club, we are well positioned to, promote these leadership qualities. So we will have this session by Jerry Zimmerman. The title of the session is Advancing Leadership. So over to Jerry, Advancing Leadership.
Thank you very much, Taiba. I certainly hope I don't plotz on this presentation. However, I'm very happy to be here speaking with my friends at the Global Online Advanced Toastmasters Club. Now, as many of you realize, an advanced club is one that requires all of its members to belong to at least one other Toastmaster club. So by joining an advanced Toastmaster club, each of us has made a statement to ourselves and to others that we want more out of ourselves and we want more out of Toastmasters. And this, as Taiba mentioned, we talk about communication and leadership. And of course, communication is important. But one of the most under-recognized and underappreciated, and I think oftentimes least emphasized parts of Toastmasters is Toastmasters' role in helping each and every one of us not only develop our leadership qualities, but to maintain our leadership qualities. And let's face it, in any role, in any setting, no matter how experienced, sometimes we do tend to get a little sloppy. we plots, and I'm certainly not immune to that happening on occasion. So every role in Toastmasters has some aspect of leadership development. Some of them are quite obvious. Probably the two most obvious ones during a meeting are the Toastmaster and the Table Topics Master. And I'll say a little more about Table Topics Master after a bit. But even a role such as speaker, timer, evaluator, or just being present has a leadership aspect which includes things like paying attention and being engaged and so forth. So here are some steps that I could have picked several, but these are some that I think are very important in enhancing our leadership qualities. And those steps are going to include, first of all, beginning with becoming a good follower. One of our members in another club calls it fellowship. The next is, as a leader, we learn to think ahead and act ahead. And very importantly, we act as role models every time we step to a lectern, speak up at a meeting, appear on screen in an online Toastmasters meeting. So what is this funny word called fellowship? We're familiar with the word fellowship. Let's all have a good time. And that's important. But what about fellowship? Well, fellowship goes back to the key thing that every successful person, every champion in their own field, whether it's a sports figure, an author, a corporation leader, they all began at the bottom. They all began by knowing practically, if perhaps nothing, about what they were doing. And how did they begin that slow process of growing? They followed other leaders. They observed. They listened. They learned. They took the time to internalize what they saw, and step by sometimes very slow step, they enhanced those, they grew those qualities in themselves. So the very first thing any one of us can do is observe, and that means paying attention during meetings. I made comment to those, the reference to the role descriptions and so forth. And let's face it, even though some of those role descriptions go back over things that we do in this club, some are unique. But it's been pretty obvious, not only today, but in previous meetings, that I don't think hardly anybody has really taken the time to review those skills and kind of make sure they're living up to their own personal standards and the standards of a high quality advanced Toastmasters experience. So learn to follow, learn to observe, learn to internalize what you have learned. The next big thing I said, the next big step was thinking ahead. That means planning. That means not waiting until the last minute before we decide what we're going to do. And that includes a lot of things. So plan your participation. We typically, and we're not the only club that has the challenge, I will say, of filling out an agenda where we ask people to volunteer, sign up. The truly successful clubs that I have been with have someone, usually an educational vice president, who contacts members in advance, and they contact the vice president to let them know when they're going to be there and what they're going to do, because this is an advanced way of developing leadership. So plan our participation. At the very minimum, let people know in advance, put what your plans are. If you were at work and you didn't tell your supervisor what you were planning to do, I'm not sure the supervisor would be 100% pleased. So learn to develop that leadership skill by observing that quality in other successful people. So plan ahead, know what is expected, and keep others informed. That can be easily done now with Zoom, and that's not going to be just a Toastmasters skill. In my comments about what I look forward to, it's not let's get back to what we had. Let's learn to make the most of this new world. And let's face it, this is a global world. These are changing times. Online meetings and gatherings are going to be an important part of all of our futures. Let's each develop the skills of optimizing them, not only to benefit ourselves, but to benefit others. And the last thing that I mentioned as that 3 is remember, every time I'm on, I'm acting as a role model. Hopefully I do it well. Hopefully I don't plot in my experience. It happens. But we need to learn, I need to learn to recognize that, accept it, and decide that I'm going to learn to do it better the next time and truly follow in on that. Now, I told you I'd give you a quick example, and I am in no way reflecting on our topics master today, but these reflect some of the ideas that are in the discussion. I said the 2 major leadership, most complex roles in a meeting are the Toastmaster and the topics master. Now, topics master as a role is a leadership training for something that we are all doing, have done, or will do in our professional and even personal lives. That is, we're going to be in charge of a group. Now, at work, that might mean someone says, I'm putting you in charge of being of a task force, and I want you to put some people together and get this job done. Or more often, they're going to say, you're in charge of a task force. Here are the people I decided you're supposed to work with, and I'll get out there and get the job done, in so many words. Or a committee, or in a family group, you may just find yourself by default being the person who's getting things organized with feedback from others. So what are you doing as a table topics master? A table topics master, a committee leader, a task force leader is tasked with getting the most from everyone in their group. And in so doing, they need to be aware of who's participating, who's not, who maybe needs to be prodded a little bit to draw something out of them. So a table topics master can be there early in advance and ahead of the meeting, be aware of the agenda, know who has the major assignments, who has no assignments, who has assignments that perhaps will not require them to say much at all during the meeting. A typical one would be a timer or a general evaluator. Making sure that as part of your committee of a whole in your advanced Toastmasters group, anyone who has not had an opportunity to speak during that meeting or a meaningful opportunity will get that opportunity because you have planned ahead and will make sure that they were included. One of the ways and we can do that, if you were a committee chair, I doubt that you would say, anybody have something they want to say? No, you would look directly at someone and say, Please tell me what you think about this topic. So I would encourage us not to have this, who will volunteer, or let's spin a number. Have your questions in mind and ask specific individuals, because you know through planning in your Advanced Toastmasters Club who could benefit from contribution. Of course, as typical Toastmasters, our questions are going to be brief. We're not going to have elaborate lead-ins. We want this person's ideas fresh, de novo. And then, of course, once they've made their contribution, we compliment and we encourage, and then we move on to the next person. So that's an example of some of the leadership opportunities that are there. So remember, this is a global, advanced Toastmasters Club. We're all here because we want more. And in so doing, remember that it's fellowship first. Observe, learn, know what's expected. Plan ahead, be engaged ahead of the meeting starting time. And whatever we do in any capacity, let's be good, advanced leadership role models every time we step before the screen or lectern. Thank you very much for letting me share my ideas with you, and back to our most awesome Toastmaster for the day, Taiba.
Thank you so much, Jerry. It was an amazing session taken by you, where you made us truly understand the meaning of followership. We have learned enough and more about leadership, but now it's time to learn followership. Thank you so much for making us understand that. Now let us move to our next section of the meeting, that is the prepared section of the meeting, wherein our first speaker is Paul. So can we have Paul?
Yes, good morning and thank you, Master Toastmaster. This morning I'm going to tell you about some things I value very, very much. Several years ago, I had the opportunity to be the chief curator and executive vice president of the largest children's museum in the world, the Indianapolis Children's Museum. Well over 1 million visitors a year, which is remarkable in that field. Kids are first in such a place. We built lots of exhibits and lots of programs for them, but they decided that they wanted to do it for themselves. And we thought, well, this is a good idea. What do you have in mind? And they said, we want to run a real newspaper for both children's issues and adults and the relationship between the both of them. So we asked them to shape it up a little bit and come back to us. And they did. They did all their research and they finally came back to us, and boy, it was a good idea. They were able to get the local newspaper, which is the largest in the state, to offer them a page every 2 weeks, a full page for them to write and take photographs for. They raised $500,000 for this project. We were amazed. Now we helped them write, of course, because that's what the business of the journalism part is, learn how to write. They had some really, really good ideas. And they're going to sound a little weird. And this is the prelude to the international rights of the child. We would like to go where children are having issues. We'd like to go, for example, to Northern Ireland when the Troubles were there. We would like to go to Kuwait after the first Gulf War. We would like to go to Hong Kong. We would like to go to Mexico City. We'd like to go to Brazil and check out all the things that are affecting children that they could find, write about them, take photos, come back to Indianapolis, write up for the paper. Now the younger children were 10 to 15, and the older ones were up to 18. The younger ones were mostly the writers, and the older ones were the editors. Now, we did have, obviously, adult oversight here. I mean, they had proposed, for example, to go to Northern Ireland. They had the money for it, but we was always concerned about safety, food, lodging, travel, those things. So we sent 2 chaperones and a security person with them on all of their trips. Now I'm going to get to the international rights. They came across this one summer, and I said, well, we don't even know anything about this. So they began some research and did a lot of searching and found out that the first document about international rights for children was created by the United Nations, precursor to the United Nations. Unbelievable. There are 10, but I won't run through a list of 10. I will group them in smaller packages and just mention some of the things that fall under them. The first is security, identity, the right to have a name. That really got to me. The right to have a name, the right to have a nationality. The second is, what is it? Protection. The right to live in a safe place with a roof over your head and good nutritious food and education. The right to have those things. And we know that these things are not working all over the place. I mean, you take children who don't have a name, that to me was like very unusual. Or children who don't have families or are very poor all over the world. They wanted to talk about that too and write about that. The third is development. The right to develop oneself and get a good education, be rewarded for a good education, and as some of the things that Jerry talked about, those traits they must do as well. Fellowship, being mentored, all important in their writing and in their photography. They became excellent, absolutely excellent. And the last one is the right to participate. What does that mean? The right to participate. It means the right to have a voice and the right to be listened to. Also some things that Jerry talked about. Now, they did all of this work, did their publications, and then because it was so good, they started marketing it with PR and public relations and outlets, other informational outlets. If you would like, I can certainly send you the larger document for your pleasure if you would like. I'll just send it anyway to each of us. I'll end with this. Having thought about those categories, I'll end with the right to have a name. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Paul, for that amazing speech. So now let us move to our next speaker, who is giving his icebreaker speech in dynamic leadership. So our next speaker is Mihir Shastri. Don't turn back now. Don't turn back now, Mihir Shastri.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster. it was during the chilling winters of January. It was pouring really hard, and this is when the biggest event of uh, 20th century took place. I was born. It was such a stormy day that my father got stuck at work and he could see me only 24 hours later. And when he saw me, he took me and said that my son will become a government officer. As like all Indian parents, it was pre-decided. Be it engineer, lawyer, or a government officer, or a doctor. I was an hyperactive child. I loved breaking stuff and climbing on things. These scars are the proofs. And I was a I was a I was a uh, talkative child. So I used to talk all the time in my class, at my home, and my family members and my teachers used to think that either he will become a very successful person, like a big businessman or something, or a politician, or he will become a terrorist, because I was so hyperactive. But I came, then I entered my sixth grade. The childhood was very good. During my sixth grade, I it was the first day of the grade, and the teacher asked for names. So when my chance came, I stood up very proudly, very confidently, because I was the topper of my class. And nothing. There was a pause. There was nothing came out of my mouth. And the teacher said, "Did you just forget your name?" And everyone started laughing. I felt so embarrassed. And this is when I realized I have a stutter. My stutter started, I had forget about my stutter, which was in my childhood, but it came up again. And soon I started avoiding saying my name, then my roll number, then my class, then my parents' name. And soon I was stuttering on most of the words. And this is when the difficult part of my life started. I started locking myself in my room avoid so that I can avoid speaking to others and make new friends. I immersed myself in books, so I got good marks. And the only thing I had were my grades. But then my 12th standard came, and I did not get the college I wanted. And I felt so depressed that in the first year of my college, my academics also started going down. And the only thing I had, the only power I had lost it. And it was during first year that I had hit my rock bottom. I literally locked myself in the room for a week. I did not talk to anyone, not even my parents. I was so sad. Then my 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 parents told me to go with them on a trip to mountains. And then I went there, and I promised myself that when I go back home, I will stop waiting for good things to happen to me, and I will start working on the good things to happen to me. And I started doing good things. And first thing I did, I joined a gym. I started working out. And within 6 months, I lost, uh, I lost, I lost, I lost 40 pounds. Then then I started reading a lot of books, and I tried to change my mindset. And then I discovered something amazing. I watched this YouTube video. It was a speech at American Institute of, of Stuttering, and it was given by Joe Biden. It is a 25-minute speech. And he told that speech impediment, stuttering is not a disability. It is not a liability, but a capability. And it gives so much strength. What stands in the way becomes the way. Impediment to action becomes impediment to action initiates the action. And I pledged, I promised myself that I will become a great public speaker. And I joined Toastmasters. And here I am with a person with a speech impediment, giving speech in front of an audience from different countries. So this is the power that we have to realize in ourselves. And God helps those who help themselves. So if you have some kind of obstacle in your life, don't think of it as an obstacle, but as an opportunity to work on it. Thank you.
What an amazing speech by Toastmaster Mihir. He tickled the funny bone of each one of us, and he gave us such an inspiring lesson at the end that obstacle is the way. So beautifully woven speech. So I would request Haritosh to please show the polls for the best speaker.
The poll is now available. I'll remove co-host from Jerry and Taiba so that they are also able to vote. We've got about 64% votes. So yeah, those who have not yet voted, please vote. Okay, the poll is now being closed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So can we have the timer report for both the speakers? Over to Toastmaster Javed.
Thank you, Toastmaster Taiba. Toastmaster Paul took 6 minutes 42 seconds. Toastmaster Mihir took 5 minutes 58 seconds. So both are qualified.
Great. Thank you, Toastmaster Javed, for your report. Now moving on to the most fun-filled section of the meeting, that is the table topics section. So it would be taken by Toastmaster Jennifer. So over to Toastmaster Jennifer.
Fellow Toastmasters, the Georgian calendar will change to 2021 just this next week, and it is another year of possibility. And what a possibility speech we heard this morning. Possibility means that things may be chosen or done out of several alternatives. So today our responses should be between 1 to 2 minutes, and a reminder that the word of the day is plots. The first question is, do you think that New Year resolutions or goals motivate or depress something? Do New Year resolutions or goals motivate you or depress what you have in mind? And I would like to start that first question out to Jack.
I think it's motivated because every year, we in China, we are always saying that New Year, new face, like, new impression. So every year I will have a New Year resolution, and sadly, most of them I will not realize. But you know what? Because I have this high bar, like I have some goal, I think have a goal is better than nothing, right? So I think it is a kind of motivation. And although I have 10 goals, I realized only 2. It is good. It is an achievement. If I didn't set any New Year resolution, that the year will be boring, you know. Also, like when I look back, wow, I realized like some of them, right? And you know, sometimes my New Year resolution is the same like the former year, but I still have this resolution. Yeah, all in all, I think it is good. It is a motivation. Thank you. Back to Jennifer.
Thank you, Jack, for reminding us that motivation allows for possibilities. The next question is what is something you do or you think everyone should do to make a difference in their life? So something perhaps that you do every day or that is routine for you that makes a difference in your life that could help others. Steve?
Good morning, afternoon, evening, good night, everybody. My thing that I would say that I try to do every day in my life, especially with work, is a good time management protocol. Over the years, managing people and coaching people and working as a manager, I developed my own kind of custom time management paper that I do on a weekly basis. And it starts the week with making a list of everything to do that week, along with my schedule of my meetings, and then purposely and intentionally planning those things that need to get done into the days, depending on how much time I have in each of those days. Excuse me, after my my scheduled meetings are taken care of. I've tried to stick with that over the last few years, and I would say that is my number one thing that I'm trying to, say, for instance, teach my boy who's a junior in high school and is learning sometimes the hard way what happens when you don't manage your time and you end up forgetting to do something and you don't do as well on a test or something like that, as far as good lessons learned. And that's what I'd say. Thank you.
Thank you for those fantastic insights on time management and the importance of that. We often think of how we can serve others, especially through the gifts that we have or the skills that we have. And John, what is something you can do this year to serve others this coming year?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmaster, or fellow topic master and fellow Toastmasters. Serving others, that seems to be one of the gifts that I have that I like to share with others. And that gift is provided through this vehicle of Toastmasters, and I've taken on a number of leadership positions, and I found that very fulfilling. And this happens to be a third club that I'm participating in now. And the Good Morning Toastmaster, I gave up the presidency a couple years back, and I was serving as secretary, and I led that on to someone else, and that person is doing a spectacular job. So that's a fulfillment or fruit of passing on the gift of serving others. And I'm happy to say that happens to be a very healthy club, and it's got great membership. And then in the Good Evening Toastmasters, there's people like Jan, who's I've been following her career along a little bit and giving her a little bit of encouragement. And I'm really excited for the opportunity of her becoming a DTM. So that's also serving others. And then this club is just blowing me away in terms of its global influence. We have an opportunity to serve people all around the world and hear good prepared speakers and educational moments, and to put forth our best when it comes to getting in front of the camera. I'm trying to work on that so much, and it's a great opportunity to come before people I don't even know who they are, but I'm using whatever gifts I have to help them to succeed, and I can't begin to tell you how much you all are helping me to succeed. So thank you, Madam Topic Master and fellow Toastmasters.
And I do believe we have time for one more. And I would like to know what you learned this year that will help you out in 2021. Lucy, what did you learn this year that will help you out in 2021?
I think I am the table topic evaluator. So
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you. Temujin, what did you learn in 2020 that will help you out in 2021?
Thank you, topic master. I think to answer this question, I really have to look at my new job position. So starting last spring, I got promoted to be a high school college advisor, counselor. So I think with that job position, there comes a lot of responsibility, a lot of these interpersonal skills, like communicating with parents, high school students, counseling, helping them find their fit colleges and helping them write their college essays, and so many these practical skills. I was not very equipped for that job, but my administration, my principal trusted in me, and they gave me this opportunity, thinking that I have that skills. But I think one of the major skills I'm learning from this job, especially this year, is ability to communicate with others, because I know it's a quite cliche, right? Communication skill is quite cliche, but especially working with senior students, they usually like write me an email right before I go to bed, maybe like at midnight, and asking like counseling for the college plan. So which really sometimes at the beginning irritated me, but now I'm learning, like Jerry said, this, observing, follow-up, like internalize this kind of thing. I'm really learning this. I grew on this job as time went by. So I hope this communication skill and also this experience from this Toastmaster will help me a lot in the future again.
Thank you. And I do believe we're at time now. So I turn this meeting back over to our Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for conducting such a wonderful table topic session. So now let's head to our table topic evaluators. Our first table topic evaluator is Lucy. So Lucy, you can evaluate.
I think we can start with speech evaluation, and I'm the speech evaluator, so I can go ahead. So
Okay.
thank you so much, Taiba and Paul. This is probably the first time I'm hearing you speak, and what an speech. Once you gave me the topic, international rights of child, I was actually confused what exactly it is, but I'm really amazed with the amount of research and the insights that you brought to the subject. So thank you for sharing those insights. And you had a lot of good elements of a speech. You were confident. Your voice was pretty clear, and we all were able to hear and understand what you were speaking about. And you, one more good thing you did was you referenced other speaker, and when you do that, it actually shows that you were paying attention to what is happening and you are in the moment. So great job on that. I really had a tough time on figuring out that if I have to give you something to improve on, and I did figure out a couple of things. Number one, I would say is in terms of the structure of the speech, you had a captivating opening where because we thought about what exactly this is, and you had a lot of good points in between. But I thought the ending was kind of abrupt because I was looking for something more, some conclusion of the whole speech. So this is where probably you might want to look into how you can do a logical conclusion. And the second point was, and it kind of looked to me that it is more about the research and presenting speech, but I was looking off more of the points because when I looked at the different points you talked about, the rights of a child, security, identity, name, nationality, protection, and you did talk about a child who doesn't have a name. So I thought there might be a point where you can actually bring a story of a child who doesn't have a name. Maybe just a dialogue. What's your name? I do not have a name. Something like that will actually emotionally connect all the audience to what it feels like when you do not have a name, which is such a basic thing for a child. And why is it so important to have that international right for a child? I'd like to conclude my evaluation of your speech by I'm really, really impressed by the amount of research you have done. The $500,000 raised by kids, that's phenomenal. So great job, great international point, great research. Maybe a couple more stories and a little more logical conclusion will take it to another level. Thank you so much, Paul. Over to you, Taiwa.
Thank you so much, Haritosh, for that meticulous evaluation. Now let's head on to our next evaluator, Debs Wallace, for Mihir's speech. So over to Debs.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, good morning, afternoon and evening all over the world. It's wonderful to be here and particularly to be evaluating Mahir's Icebreaker speech. Well, wasn't that just a wonderful speech in terms of how we get through obstacles? Don't turn back now. I love this speech, and particularly in terms of my first commendation, I felt that Mahir gave us a really excellent introduction about himself and his childhood. And in that respect, I thought he introduced some humor as well when he was saying he could have been a businessman, a politician, or a terrorist. I thought, oh no, I can't imagine him being a terrorist. I thought that was a good turn on words there. In terms of my second commendation, I like the way that Mahir mimicked his teacher. So he didn't just face camera and tell us about his teacher. He actually turned as if speaking to her, as if she was a hologram. And I think that's very effective. I also noticed in terms of recommendations, I noticed Mahir was rocking a bit, which is something that from personal experience is incredibly easy to do on Zoom. And we also do it if we're slightly tense or nervous, but it's far better, unless there's a specific reason for rocking, to actually remain still whilst delivering our speeches. My second recommendation, and this is something that Mahir specifically asked me to look for, was that he paused more. He did pause a few times, but to pause more between different parts of his speeches would give it an even more powerful punch towards us. What I really liked best in terms of Mahir's speech was where he's talking about his stutter, and he showed such brevity in doing that. And he was also making comparisons like not a liability, but a capability. And I thought this way of speaking gave his speech a lot of power and also energy. And I personally do think he's a great public speaker already. There's lots of always room for improvement, as with any of us. And in summary, I thought we had a wonderful speech, good introduction from childhood. And that's it from me. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Debs, for that meticulous evaluation. Let's head on to the table topics evaluation. So Lucy can evaluate the first two table topic speaker, and then Jack can do the last speaker. So over to Lucy first.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster. So first of all, I would like to give feedback to Jack. I like the way you answered, because my answer is the same to you. I think have some goal. It's motivating. You have some keywords like a golden sentence. For example, having something is better than nothing. I think that is the shining points in your short speech. However, I noticed that in the less than 2 minute speech, you use 5 times of you know. So next time, maybe you can improve a little bit on it. You know word, And also, I'm very curious that what is the same goal that you did this year and the last year. So I think maybe everyone, well, most of us are curious about what is your goal. So it would be better if you can explain a little bit about the goal specifically and with some detail. And for the Steve, I like the answer time and management. I think it is a very good answer to this question. My feedback is that I really want to hear more about how do you influence your boy, because you told us that you try to show your boy how to do the time management. So what is the behavior of your boy before and after you told him something new about the time management? So that is I think that is a stepping stone or the proof or the evidence of influence. So I'm really curious about that. If you can tell us more, I think we can get more useful message from it, and we can learn it by practice, by some detailed step-by-step suggestions. But all in all, I like your answer. So that's my feedback to the first two speakers. Back to the Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Now, I would like to welcome Jack for evaluating our last speaker, table topic speaker. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think here is some mistake. So Lucy, can you still continue to finish Joe? Because I like prepared Steve. Like I think I'm old. I'm Eve. You are old, but you know, some mistake. Sorry for that.
Okay, no problem. Okay, John, I would like to give you some feedback as well. I like the way you organize your speech. You talk about the topic of serve. You talk about the experience in Toastmaster. One feedback to you is that when you speak, you just look at the camera and without any body language. So maybe next time you can move a little bit, just a little bit. So a little bit, but yeah, just like that. It will be like you are talking about with passion, you are talking about it with enthusiasm, even though your topic is very good about serving others. So I think if you can show your passion, it will be maybe a little bit better. That's my feedback. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lucy. And I'm like gonna evaluate with Timoji. And I really like your speech, like you've learned something, because I'm a teacher. So I'm very totally understand what you are talking. Like you got understand, you got the skill, like practical skill, how to communicate with kids, and also like help them to be a better one. Also, your principal trust you to do this kind of job. It's good. And also, like one suggestion for you is that because I'm a new teacher, so I also want to know like some specific ideas. Like for example, every day I write a sentence, a good point that like today I've learned, or like the bad points, or the place I did not well, or also something like shining. Like we can call it a shiny sentence today. Like my students give me some you know, some ideas like that, more ideas, so I can learn, you know. I know, you know, generally from your speaking, I know what you are meaning, but I want more like more detailed things so that I can use. Thank you. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Let's have a polls for the best table topic speaker. Can we have the polls for the best?
Yep. So you must be seeing a poll on your screen, and once we are done with this, we'll also have poll for best evaluator. In the meantime, I think timer can start giving his report.
Yes, in the meantime, the timer can give the report for the table topic speaker and the table topic evaluator.
Sure, Taiba. I'll share the timing report for the table topic speaker. Starting with Toastmaster Jack, took 1 minute 15 seconds. Toastmaster Steve took 1 minute 13 seconds. Toastmaster John, he took 1 minute 51 seconds. Toastmaster Timujin took 2 minutes 1 second. So all the table topic speakers are qualified. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's go to the word master / grammarian for today's meeting. That was Temujin. Over to Temujin.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity for being a word master. So our words of the day was plots, right? Plots. I think, and every time I say this word, and it sounds funny, it makes me laugh. And now I noticed like a couple of people using this word, and those are John Peterson. Actually, he used it in his text message to me, text message to us, and Jerry also used in his speech advancing leadership a couple of times, plots. And Haritosh, actually, he has used this word several times. Every time he used it, I kind of laughed. He used it in a very interesting context. So yeah, and other than that, no one used this word. I don't know, as far as I noticed. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to call on stage, virtual stage, the counter for today's meeting, Jan.
Thank you very much. I have good news to say that there were very few ahs, ums throughout the whole meeting today. I may have just said Temujin said just once. And we had a few filler words though. We had Francine said so a couple times, and our Toastmaster Taiba said so a few times. And you mentioned, Lucy, that Jack said a few times, and we had a couple double words where Mahir in his speech said I was. But it was overall very few ums, ahs, likes, and so's from the majority of people. It was a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jan, for your report. Now moving on to our general evaluator of the meeting, Frankie.
Thank you. Now, time for the general evaluation. First thing I noticed is that we started on time, which is a very good thing. We were all sharing that on the 26th of December, it would be difficult to start on time and to have such a high attendance. So we did well on that. I also noticed that the guests were properly welcomed. And then after the presiding officer welcomed the guests and started the meeting, we moved to the warm-up session, which was quite engaging. One person was left, but fortunately, she managed to speak. It was the Toastmaster of the day. Now moving to the speakers, I noticed that the speakers were not properly introduced. I would suggest that next time when speakers are taking the floor, the introduction mention a brief biographical sketch and the objectives of the speech they are about to deliver. The table topics were nicely introduced. The questions were quite engaging and thought-provoking. The topics were also appropriate and appropriately introduced in 1 minute, more or less. That was very good. But concerning the assignment of the allocation of question, the recommended path is we start with people with no role, then people with smaller roles, and then people with with larger roles. That was not absolutely followed during the meeting. I recommend for the next table topics, we follow this path. Now moving to the evaluation. For both evaluations, the speech evaluation, the prepared speech evaluation, I noticed that both evaluators delivered constructive feedback. They both used the sandwich method and provided many suggestions for improvement. For the speech, for the first speaker, Paul, I suggest Haritosh remind also the objective of the speech, since they were not mentioned before Paul delivered the speech. So Haritosh could have done that also. And I've also liked that Haritosh ended on a positive note that was quite encouraging for the speaker. Concerning Javed evaluation, Mihir evaluation, yes. The feedback was also constructive. The evaluator, Debs, could have also reminded the objectives of the speech. And I also like the fact that she really illustrated all recommendation from excerpt and example taken from the speech and ended on a very positive note that was quite encouraging for the speakers. Now concerning the table topics evaluation, I noticed that both evaluators provided constructive feedback. Even also one of the evaluators was also one of the speakers for the table topics, Jack. They provided constructive feedback and with specific examples taken from the intervention, mentioning the posture, the body language, and all of that. That was quite good. And concerning the other parts of the session, the educational session, it was on time. The advice provided were very inspiring and were tailored to the context of the club and to the kind of activities we are doing at this time. I believe I've evaluated all the roles that have not been evaluated, and that was it for my general evaluator report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Franklin, for that detailed report. Now, I would just like to say that where focus goes, energy flows. So this new year, let's put our focus on bringing our best self, on bringing new possibilities and unveiling our true potential. With that, I would like to give the control to the president of the meeting, to the presiding officer, who's the president of the club, Toastmaster Haritosh Srivastav. So over to Haritosh.
Thank you so much, Taiba. Since we are running on time, we have 1 minute only. So I'm quickly going towards the award declaration. We had really interesting voting and everybody got some votes. So let me start off by the certificate of appreciation to Jerry. It was a wonderful session. So let's give a big round of applause to Jerry. We learned quite a number of things on leadership and or follows it. Thank you so much. Moving on to Steve is our best table topic speaker. So congratulations, Steve. Our best evaluator for today is Debs. Congratulations, Debs. You did a meticulous job. And last but not the least, the best speaker for today's for Global Online Advanced Toastmasters meeting on 26th December is Mihir. Congratulations, Mihir. So that's all from Awards Corner. We did notice that we have Mark Walton. He hasn't had a chance to speak. So Mark, you have next 30 seconds to give your opinion on anything. You can say I was bad.
Fellow Toastmasters, I got a new camera for Christmas and it works just fine, except I can't hear anything. I haven't figured that out yet. I have been plotzed by hardware once again. It happens constantly. Let me know when my 30 seconds is up, because I can keep complaining about this all day long. My apologies for being late. Good to see you again. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mark. I hope you had a great Christmas. So towards the end of the meeting, would like to reiterate that we are really looking at chartering. So if you are someone who is interested to become a member of the club, please send an email to Global Online Club, no space, no underscore, @gmail.com. And yes, any other business from anyone? Our next meeting would be on, I believe, on 9th of January 2021. So we'll be meeting next year. And yeah, any other business? No, we are 1 minute over time, which is not bad. So take care, everyone. Have a good vacation, good holidays. We'll see you on 9th January.
Take care, everyone. Enjoyed being here.
Thank you, everyone.